Welcome to Cashflow Diary, a podcast where we discuss business, money, real estate, and the sharing economy. As a full-time real estate investor, entrepreneur, and all-around problem solver, I have had the privilege of developing individuals into powerful business owners. And today, the focus turns towards you. Our mission is to help you build your real estate empire by leveraging strategies to grow yourself, your mind, and your wallet. Let's get started. I'm still at the process of getting more details on whom I'm going to serve. Understood. Currently, I'm planning to go with professionals, sales, doctors, professors. Okay, that makes sense. I am planning to interview some of them by this week. I just had a quick question. If the property is owned by the property management, I asked them about subleasing their property. No, that not at all. First of all, one very important thing for everyone to understand. I am not your attorney. Never have been, never will be. But the reason I mention that is because we are not subleasing. All right. There's a big difference, especially in a legal sense, between subleasing and what we're asking and what we're actually doing. What we are actually doing as operators is granting a license to use said property. OK, we are not conferring upon our guests all of the rights of a tenant, all of the rights of a tenant for the duration of their time there. That is not what we're doing. We're giving them a license to stay there, a license that is very restrictive and definitely doesn't confer all of the rights. So that's a very important thing to understand, very important distinction, which is why you don't hear me use the word subleasing. In fact, Devin, here's what you do. You're not asking them about subleasing at all. You're not even asking them, can you grant a license? You're letting them know what your company does. For example, you said it was what? Professionals, sales, doctors. Okay, got it. So Nevin, if I was you, I would say something like, hi, my name is Nevin. My company and I are looking to lease a number of properties in the area. Are you the right person to talk to about that? Now, they're going to either be the right person or not, but what you're trying to figure out is, how do I get this conversation to be what I need it to be as it relates to letting them know what I'm doing? When they ask you, you wait for them to ask you remember, the words are, my company and I are looking to lease. There's a whole reason for all of that. Go back into the training that we did on Saturday and you'll see more of that. Anyway, there's the whole reason we did that. At some point, they will ask, whether it's when you're walking through the property or what have you, what's happening is that they will ask you, what does your company do? That is the question you are waiting for. When they answer, or when they ask you that question, your answer is 100% tied to one thing. It is whom you serve and how you serve them. It is not where you get your customer from. Where you source your customer is not the subject of this conversation. What is the subject of this conversation is whom you serve and how you serve them. Okay. So if I was you, I'd be answering that question. Hey, what does your company do? Well, thank you for asking. What we do is we serve a number of professionals like doctors and professors and salespeople who travel to the area for a period of time, either on business or they're relocating to the area. And what we like to do is we like to provide clean, safe, affordable places for them to stay so that they don't have to worry about the inconveniences of a hotel. They get to understand the area, the neighborhood from a completely different perspective. And most importantly, sometimes they just want to have a kitchen and we like to provide that for them. So what we often do is we connect ourselves with quality landlords such as yourself so that we can leverage, give you guys what you need in terms of steady rent, and we get to still service our customer. Period. That's what you do. You're not asking to sublease. Okay. Hopefully that clears that up. You said you had two questions though. So let's get to the second question. It says, if the property is managed by the property management, how will I get the owner's details? That back to what I was saying again on Saturday is you don't want the highest probability of success are properties that are owner managed, period. Oftentimes, depending on what type of property, when you say if it's managed by a property manager, If it's just a single family house that's managed by a property manager, then it's probably still capable for you to get in contact with the owner. They're going to end up having to talk to them anyway, but most of the time, owners who are using property management of that kind don't want to be bothered. If you're talking about like a REIT or a syndication owned building where it's like 200 units and it's got all the fancy amenities, maybe even a bowling alley. I think we have an apartment building out here with a bowling alley, which anyway, whatever. And one with a wine bar. Those are not the same ones. That would be funny, right? If they had a wine bar and a bowling alley. Here's my point. You want to be as close to owner direct as possible. Now, when you're in a situation in which you can't and you have to work through the property management structure, you have to work through the property management structure. There's just nothing, I can't do anything about that. So if the property is managed by a property management company, again, it's not the highest probability of success. So depending on how big the company is, you have 3 levels that you've got to get through, sometimes 4. The first level is that leasing agent. That leasing agent is the person that you ran straight into, who's right there at the desk, totally happy, usually on commission, and will tell you yes to everything. Then after the leasing agent, you have who is usually their manager. There's usually a manager of some kind. All right. And they come with various different names. Sometimes I know they're called just a community manager. Okay. So cool. That person is usually responsible for that entire building in some way, shape, or form. And they're typically reporting to someone who they call a regional manager, which usually means that particular entity that you're dealing with has a number of buildings in that particular geographic area. Therefore, it'll probably go up to at least the regional. When I've had these conversations, it goes up to at least the regional. If they're small enough, but still big, it may still end up getting to the owner as well. So that's typically how that's going to go. But like I said, being owner direct is what you want. And don't have this opinion to where you think that you have to go down that route. There's enough property out there for you to be able to do this without having to go through the property management structure. It's totally possible. So it's not something that I would be overly stressed. Like, oh, I can't. You can find them. Yes, it will take work, but it's worth it. And another way of saying that is just pretend, for example, each unit you get, no matter how many buildings are in, just think about it this way. Each unit you get is probably, I'm just going to say somewhere between, depending on your geographic location, somewhere between $35,000 to $50,000 of revenue on an annual basis for your business. Okay. And if we're projecting somewhere in the neighborhood of a 20% net profit from running that 90 minutes a day when you're using the system properly, is it worth it? So that's another way of saying, Nevin, is it worth it to do a little bit of upfront work to make $500 a month on 90 minutes a day that is scalable to whatever size you want? I think the answer is yes. And you'll also find that you'll probably make more than that, but that's neither here nor there. It's, as always, been fun talking to you guys today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Go out there and crush it. We thank you for the opportunity to influence you in whatever ways that we've been able to do so. And, we look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you for tuning in to the Cashflow Diary podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave a rating and a review. If you'd like to keep the conversation going, head over to CashFlowDiary.com to sign up for our email list, as well as check out all the links and resources in the show notes. Thank you again. Until next time.